All right, everyone, welcome to the morning beatdown, also known as my personal favorite time of the day. My name is Parsia. I'll be your host, and this is my co-host Aiden. We are joined today by a renowned restaurateur and chef, Justin Cucci. Born and raised in Manhattan, Justin spent most of his childhood growing up at his family's restaurant, the Waverly Inn. Since moving to Denver in 2008, Justin has opened up 6 restaurants and venues under the Edible Beet restaurant group. Hello, Justin.
Good morning.
How are
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course.
So, as you mentioned, Edible Beets, we're a local, homegrown Denver, independently owned restaurant group. We have 6 restaurants, and ironically, they spell lover. Linger, Ophelia's Vital Root, Edible Beets, Root Down, and then Root Down DIA. So it's 2 R's in lover. And we've been in business for about 14 years now, and we're just happy to be part of the Denver community.
Amazing.
Also, we learned that recently you joined an exclusive group in the country and become a 100% ESOP. Tell us about that.
Yeah, earlier this year, we converted to an ESOP. So that's an employee stock ownership program that made us 100% employee owned. And as you mentioned, a small group of people, especially restaurant groups. It's a very minute group of people who own restaurants that become ESOPs. And we're really excited about it. We think it'll change the metric of how we serve our guests, how we serve our employees. And it's just going to make us a better restaurant group.
Very cool. Well, now that we've gotten the boring stuff out of the way, Justin, can you tell us what you're making today?
100%. We're making some great bread. And this bread is so simple, I wouldn't even put a chef coat on. It would, debase the recipe because it's so simple, anybody can make it. And it's basically known as many things, a medicine bread, or someone has it on the internet as a life-changing bread. But at the end of the day, it's a vegan, gluten-free, high plant protein, paleo, keto, and heart-healthy recipe.
Amazing. All right. Well, can you tell us what these ingredients are? Because I'm not quite sure what I'm really
Yeah, so
at.
I learned this bread recipe from my mentor, the internet. And in researching it, there's so many ways you can do this. And frankly, you can mix and match what ingredients you like. You can change up some of the seeds, but at the end of the day, this is about being really healthy. So we're going to start with a lot of nuts and seeds. Going to start with some almonds. And if you don't like almonds, you can do hazelnuts.
Okay.
Have some cashews here. If you don't like cashews, you can change them out. Some pumpkin seeds. And really, this is about like nuts and seeds. One of the earliest forms, hence paleo, of eating some of the great, plant-based stuff that nature gave us. That's some sesame seeds, some flax seeds. And sometimes I add dates to it. If you want a little sweet, you can add dates. Today, we're going to just add a little dates. And psyllium husk. Psyllium husk is a great fiber, and it's also gelatinizes, and it's a great way to bind this because really there's no binder. There's no flour. There's no alternative flours. Psyllium husk is one of our binders. The other binder is oats. Now for paleo, this might not be cool, and that's easy change out. Just do some almond flour and some coconut, and you can make it paleo. But right now, this is a keto bread, so we're going to use some oats and sunflower seeds. That's 3/4 of the recipe. So you just made it on TV live. The next part of it is to get your wet ingredients. And so we have 2 things here. We have some plain hot water, and I have some salt and baking soda here. Now the baking soda is a little unusual because you don't normally add that to things that don't get leavened or don't rise. It's in here because it really develops these flavors in the nuts. It makes it like more intense, makes it more nutty. And so as you see here, we have a really great beginning. Yeah, you can smell what the nuts are cooking. Okay, and so this also is another key ingredient. This is basically not my mocha in the morning or not my coffee. This is basically tahini, coconut oil. You can use ghee if you like, but again, we're doing vegan right now. And there's a little bit of maple syrup in there as well. You can leave out the maple syrup.
So you're saying I shouldn't drink that in the morning?
You shouldn't drink that. And I had a little hit from it, and it works, but it's better as a soak to this bread. So basically, you're going to pour this in. And then we're going to take some water with the salt and the baking soda and probably give that a stir. And the reason that I'm putting the salt and the baking soda in here is it really dilutes and it really saturates everything. You don't want anything left for chance here. So this is now about 3/4 of the way through. All you're going to do is you're going to stir all these really beautiful ingredients, and you're going to make a delicious sludge. And this basically is going to sit on the counter for 3 hours.
Okay, amazing. And then what's the next step?
Yeah, so this will be sitting for 3 hours. And the reason it does that is because right now you have sludge. We need a dough. This is going to turn into an all in all dough when this is done. And basically everything in there is going to soak, it's going to absorb, it's going to saturate all those flavors, and then it's going to make it ready to bake. So the nice thing is no skill level needed in that. So next thing is we're going to do a loaf pan, get some parchment paper, and I learned a great trick after doing this for about 5 years, and always putting my parchment paper inside, taking my butter or oil and doing that. Finally, I figured out, there's a better way to do this. And I didn't learn this. I basically was taught this by life. And that is, you can now just do this and then get it in and not get dirty. So I'm basically just greasing the parchment here so that bread comes off.
So you're saying you didn't learn this on TikTok?
Not on TikTok, yes. Or no, I didn't. So basically we're just gonna tuck this in. And this is just a regular loaf pan. You don't need anything fancy. Parchment paper is great because it's gonna get it all set for getting it out. And then if this was soaked, I would then pour it right in here, tap it a few times, and now by the magic of the oven, I'm going to take my bread recipe and we're gonna see what that looks like.
All right. Well, I can't wait to see what
Whoa.
the sludge turns
Hot
into.
and fresh out the kitchen.
So you have linens that don't burn in your oven.
I'm a big believer in keto and eating healthy, but I do use asbestos blankets, asbestos napkins. I just think that's the best way to cook with napkins on there. So we'll remove one of the asbestos napkins, and then you can see it's toasty, it's nutty, it's really a beautiful piece of bread. Now, the nice thing is when you cut it, you're gonna get this great, you could see every flavor in there. You could see every seed, every nut. And basically it's held together, like I said, from the psyllium husks. So I made y'all a little bit here to try. Delicious butter is one way to have it, but if you guys want to try that, let me know what you think.
Well, I see we have the butt piece of the bread. Do you want to eat the butt of the bread?
I'll always eat the butt piece of the bread.
Perfect, because I don't want it. All right, let's
Cheers.
Let's
You
give
gotta
this
clink.
a whirl.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh
Yeah.
my fucking God.
Yep.
This is fucking good.
That's why we're on basic cable, because you can say all kinds of shit like that.
The texture is so interesting.
That's
Yeah.
incredible. And there's no eggs, there's no flour, there's no milk or traditional ingredients in that of traditional bread. We made that.
We made that in 2 minutes. In the oven, it goes an hour. Then you pop it out of your loaf pan, 15 minutes more in the oven, just in the parchment paper. Let it sit for an hour, and that's what you get.
Wow. I can
Amazing.
feel my body going into ketosis already.
Perfect.
Amazing. Well, thank you so
Great.
much.
Thanks so much for having me. This has been a joy.
It's been amazing.